Hi guys, we are team 8 made up of my colleagues Edgar, Demetrio, Paulina, David and the Silver Abelardo. We'll talk about mass media in arts in UK. UK is an island located on the northwestern coast of mainland Europe. The capital is London. Uh, the island of Great Britain is made up of three of the four so-called constituent countries that make up the United Kingdom, Scotland, Wales, and England. The fourth will be Northern Ireland, located on the neighboring island, the birthplace of Shakespeare and the Beatles. Its capital is London, a center of economic and cultural influence worldwide. England is also home to the Neolithic site of Stone Age, the Roman Spa, and the centuries-old universities of Oxford and Cambridge. And in media, starting in UK TV. The first public demonstration of television on the UK took place in 1926 to members of the Royal Institution by John Logie Baird. In his London laboratory, he also demonstrated color television and stereoscopic 3D television at March 1999. Broadcast television using the BBC London transmitter, the most popular channel in UK with the 77% of popularity in this channel poll. The second place is Netflix with 73 of the popularity. The TV show Gavin and Stacey, also the reality show I'm celebrating and Strictly Come Dancing are the most viewed television program watched watched with nearly 5 million individuals. As is on all countries in the United Kingdom, a lot is invested in the production of British series being internationally acclaimed and recognized due to the quality, such as Doctor Who or Downton Abbey, both variant series and soap opera, which are the popular here. Some of the programs that the English like the most are reality type TV shows. The most watching TV shows in the UK are the Great British Bake Off show that has been broadcast on BBC Two since 2010. In it, 13 people compete, creating cakes, biscuits, cookies, pastries, etc. To be the winner considered the best amateur baker in the country. Uh, to place Come Dancing, Strictly Come Dancing British show was a Spanish version that existed when live in Spain, in which celebrities participate in a dance competition. And 30, 30 place is MasterChef, the cooking show for excellence. It has been broadcast on the BBC since 1990. The format having been adapted recently and having created several new versions of the show. The original MasterChef, where amateurs compete for a position in the kitchen of a prestige restaurant. MasterChef The Professionals, Celebrity MasterChef, and Junior MasterChef for children between 9 and 12 years old. Eh,
I'm David again, and I'm gonna show you some of curious facts about the United Kingdom. In this occasion, is about music, and we talk about the one of the most famous band in all the world, and obviously in UK, who is Queen. Okay, one of the most popular bands of all time, Queen have sold upwards of 170 million records around the world. They have broken Guinness World Records, being inducted into the Rock and Roll of Fame, and now even have $1 billion film biopic detailing their rise to fame. On top of this, the band's hit single "Bohemian Rhapsody" has been voted the best song of all time in various different polls. Still going strong since their inception in 1970, the band has been through a lot, including the tragic death of frontman Freddie Mercury in 1981, but there is still as popular as ever. Okay, here is the curious fact. Brian May, he is a PhD level astrophysicist. Between the original members of Queen, the band has some serious brains. Like Roger Taylor was training to become a dentist before joining the band. Bassist John Deacon is a trained electrical engineer, something which appealed to the band when they recruited him. And Brian May, his guitarman, is a PhD level astrophysicist. May, in particular, has excelled in the astrophysics world. He collaborated with the NASA on their New Horizons Pluto missions, co-founded Asteroid Day along with Stephen Hawking and Brian Cox in 2014, and even has an asteroid 52665, Brian May, named after him. And there is the
Hello, my name is Edgar and I'm going to talk about radio in UK. Throughout the United Kingdom, listening to the radio is a tradition that dates back to the 19th century, when the first radios gradually began to be installed in the homes of the English upper classes. As early as 1922, the company per excellence in charge of providing radio service to the English population was the BBC. The first BBC radio took place on March 15, 1932. Although the broadcasting house did not open its doors until May 15 of the same year. The building is characterized by its Art Deco style, which combines several styles and artistic movements of the 20th century, especially cubisms, futurisms, and rationalisms. From 1926 until almost into the 1940s, several conflicts arose between the BBC and other means of broadcasting the arts such as theatres, concert halls, and the recording industry, as many artists began to see their audiences to decrease in favor of radio. Nowadays, the BBC has had to face the global financial crisis like many other entities. Thus, in 2011, it was forced to reduce its budget by 20%. As a consequence, radio programs such as BBC HD were cancelled. And for these reasons, Now, there are no websites such as Save BBC Three and Save Our BBC created by its thousands of listeners to help the company overcome this slump. The BBC has a total of 10 radio stations throughout the United Kingdom, 5 of which broadcast on AM, DAB, and FM, over 40 in England, and up to 6 local stations spread across Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
Hi everyone. Today I have to say to the history of the journalism in the UK. The history of journalism in the UK includes the gathering and transmission of news, encompassing the growth of technology and commerce, marked by the advent of specialty techniques for collection and disseminating information on a regular basis. In the analysis of historians, it implies the constant increase in the scope of the news available and the speed with which it is transmitted. Newspapers have always been the primary medium for journalists since 1700, with magazines added in the 18th century. The first publication of the Daily Universal Register in Great Britain was on January 1st, 1785. Unhappy that the public always omitted the term universal, Walter changed the title on January 1st, 1888, after 904 editions to the Times. Do you think about software provides a word periodical? This is a very simple. The word periodical, which refers to something that happens at intervals of time. This corresponds to the original definition of periodic as something that occurs expressly between definite time intervals. And to finish it, I have to present the general characteristics of newspapers. The first one, it is a means of informing. The second one, it is an affordable cost. The third one, it reaches a wide variety of audiences. The next one, it contains fleeting information but can be archived. It is a medium of rapid diffusion, and the last one satisfies various needs of the reader. And this is all for today. Have a nice week.
Hello again. Now we are going to talk about Internet in UK. The United Kingdom has been involved in research and development of packet switching, computer networks and communication protocols since their origins. The development of these technologies was international from the beginning, although much of the research and development that led to the Internet was driven and funded by the United States. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee wrote a proposal for a large hypertext database with typed links. The following year, he specified HTML, the hypertext language, and HTTP, the protocol. This concept became a worldwide information system known as the World Wide Web, also known as WWW. Operating on the Internet, it allows documents to be created for reading or accessing service with connections to other documents or service. Accessed by clicking on hypertext links, enabling the user to navigate from one document or service to another. British Telecommunications, or BT, began using the WWW in 1991 during a collaborative project called the Oracle Alliance Program. From then on, the Internet evolved in a similar way in the United Kingdom as it did around the world, to the point of having its own internet companies. In general, the highest quality are British Telecom and Virgin Media, which also have the best fiber optic coverage. On the other hand, the cheapest would be TalkTalk. In terms of service or quality of customer service, there are hardly any difference between them. And here, in a more visual way, we can see a table with the companies and prices that manage each of them in the UK. All these prices are for a term of 12 months. We see that Virgin Media is the most expensive, costing £24 sterling, and TalkTalk the cheapest, costing only £3.5 sterling. In general, all the internet companies have similar prices, making it easier to access to the internet in the UK.
Good afternoon. My name is David Plata, and I'm gonna talk about the cinema theater in the United Kingdom. Well, I'm gonna explain some movies in their countries, and let's begin. Well, the first movie is The Invisible Man, an enterprising adaptation of the H.G. Wells classic reconfigured for the Me Too era by horror specialist Blumhouse. Elizabeth Moss is a woman who believes she is being stalked by her controlling boyfriend, who was thought to have killed himself. After staging his own suicide, a crazy scientist used his power to become visible to stalk and terrorize his ex-girlfriend. When the police refuse to believe her story, she decides to take matters in her own hands and fight back. Okay, the second movie is Collective, an erratic documentary from Romania following a journalist's investigations into hospital deaths after a 2015 nightclub fire, which revealed a perceived corruption that contributed to scores of fatalities through poorly maintained medical facilities. Directed by Alexander Nanau, like uh, okay, that is his name. Collective follows a heroic team of journalists as they uncover shocking, widespread corruption. After a deadly nightclub fire, the mysterious death of the owner of a powerful pharmaceutical firm, and the quiet resignation of a health minister. Seemingly unrelated events all within weeks of each other. The team of intrepid reporters expose a much larger, much more explosive political scandal. Collective is a fast-paced, real-time detective story about truth, accountability, and the value of an independent press in partisan times. Okay, the next movie is Clemency. Few films this year have been as blunt in their impact as this drama examining the U.S. execution system. Alfred Woodward delivers a towering performance as a prison warden deeply troubled by the death row procedures she was to oversee, and whose personal life is increasingly affected by the physical fallout. Years of carrying out debt Row executions are taking a toll on Warden Bernadine Williams. As she prepares for another one, Williams must confront the physiological and emotional demons that her jobs create. The second movie, uh, maybe everybody knows this movie. His name is Soul. Pixar's latest animation, in which Jamie Foxx voices the central character, a jazz musician whose body becomes separated from his soul. Directed by Pete Docter, who was previously behind Up and Inside Out. This returns Pixar to the emotionally intelligent brilliance that has been in special Hallmark. Joe is a middle school band teacher whose life hasn't quite gone the way he expects. His true passion is jazz and he's good, but when he travels to another realm to help someone find their passion, his son discovers what it means to have soul. And the last movie, who is the number one in the United Kingdom, was Parasite. Bong Joon-ho's masterwork has been top of the most people's list from the moment it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2019. Its science won the Palme d'Or and the Best Picture Oscar. Release calendar differences means it won our US poll last year, and it now tops the UK list, having hit UK cinemas in February 2020. Thrilling, horrible, dramatic, articulate. It covers every vice. Greed and class discrimination threaten the newly formed symbiotic relationship between the wealthy Park family and the destitute Kim clan. And well, this is the all movies in the best movies in UK in the year 1990. And thank you, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is the second curious fact of UK. In now, it's about movies like Dunkirk. This intense World War II tour de force tells the story of the Dunkirk evacuation, where hundreds of thousands of Allied troops miraculously escaped utter devastation by the Germans, with the help of military ingenuity and waves of intrepid civilians. What was seen as a calamitous retreat turned into a legendary tale of the early years of World War II. Here are the curious facts. Okay, actual Dunkirk veterans claim the movie is louder than the actual battle. Dunkirk strove for and mostly accomplished a real sense of historical accuracy, but one aspect of those epic on-screen battles was even more extreme than what the soldiers actually experienced during the ordeal in 1940. On the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, one of the movie's stars, Kenneth Branagh, explained that 30 veterans of the battle came to the movie's UK premiere, and many said that the mayhem into the movie was far loaded than the real thing, which he also said really tickled Nolan to hear. This noise discrepancy can be explained by the fact that the amount of land of the beaches was so vast that most of the bombing noise will simply drift away on the wide open air, according to Branagh. In the movie, though, every explosion is upfront from for the audience to hear, all the all for the sake of immersion. Though most of the veterans also agreed that nearly everything else was almost exactly as they remembered. And this is the second.
Hello. Now is a take about the sculpture of the Unity King. What is begin the sculptures? What story they have? It is part of them. They what they try to compare of or the thing what to take and the thing. It can to say that Antwerp has it is one story. This word have a great impact in the population since they intermediate feeling to dating identity. The tech to this they were healing reconciled of this. It was possible and in the tech they reconciled was where Georgian he was discussing colonial mystery political on the sculpture. His entry political in support of the art in Britain. It helped arching free access to public art and museums. One of the most emblematic work of was could be recalling the healing tower. Another famous sculptor is Henry Spinning Monroe. Better now is Henry Monroe. He was British sculptor that now for abstract bronze and marble sculpture that can be seen in many around the world in the public art. The family is his work was made in he was represented the family union with is represented the humanized figure with Arrow Mines Bronson. The pillar it is where it Edward Arlington who was a social critical and the workings is the representation the fragile society in the and this thing collapse. Medals. This work is bigger sculptor who that is still similar or renaissance since several schools and hip reservoir his work he can see representation of the woman see the hip back thus looking back the stocking will now be take a thanks.
Hi again. What is the history of the music? The sacred and religious music was deeply influenced by the Protestant Reformation that affected the United Kingdom in the 16th century, which reduced the events associated with British music and forced the development of a distinctive style of national music of worship and belief. The music in the UK genres developed by British musicians include blues rock, heavy metal, progressive rock, hard rock, punk rock, electric folk, folk punk, acid jazz, trip hop, shoegaze, drum and bass, grime, Britpop, and dubstep. Something very famous is the symphony in the UK because is the one of the first symphony composers was Cipriano Potter, but his works very rarely performed. The public of the time preferred to listen to the works of the great masters. The success of Schumann's works was remarkable and English composers followed his line, including Arthur Sullivan with his 1866 Erie Symphony, Sterling Bennett with his 6064 G minor symphony, and the Cohen's First Symphony, published in 1869. But the first symphony that became famous was his third, the Scandinavian Symphony of 1888. For all these composers, the line to follow was to market by the work of Beethoven, Mendelssohn, and Schumann. And this is all today. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Hello, now is talking about the terrain on the kingdom. United Kingdom terrain plays an important role in Britain culture and the countries that make in the two United Kingdom. Yeah, have very traditional since the Renaissance with Rose donating back the Roman occupation. They there were introduced from the Europa, the what is now a United Kingdom, be the Romans in the medieval times in the have developed in the place of mimos, a form of early strict terrain which told folk taking that during history in the representation for some of the history of Saint Gregory and Dragon and Robin Hood. These developed over time were introductions that were no longer ridiculous but due already to a story of people dramatic which other listening that were traveled. From much field have on the sub on 19th century touring in London on prevention that was destined to be a listening system upon the terrain companies on the other 10 countries perform musical entertainment. The his power to other occasional dramatic performance. Unchanged at the time of the 19th century, the words on the London street of the Ireland Gregor Vernon signed in Esther will on the northern Henry Albus, who influenced in the revolution English domestic drama. In 1920, a later novel cover artistically lasting success on the playing public won the 17th place from the 20th hour. Many of the work so of high favor privilege blessing of living personal life of being the spirit of remaining in the regular point of the theater unity to today. Jane Brown, the persona that used the over Henry Mover was Scottish plaving sculptor, writing software, considered founder in modern sculpting that are following in participation in the founding of the cities there of preferring the sculpting school now the Royal excursion on dramatic and music dramatic. We'll talk about thanks.
Okay, there is the last interesting facts about the UK. Now it's about TV shows like Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders is a gangster family epic set in Birmingham, England in 1919, just after the First World War. The story centers on the remaining Irish Peaky Blinders gang and their ambitious and highly cunning boss, Tommy Shelby, played by Cillian Murphy. The gang comes to the attention of Chief Inspector Major Chester Campbell, played by Sam Neill, a detective in the Royal Irish Constabulary, sent over by Winston Churchill from Belfast, where he had been sent to clean up the city of the Irish Republican Army, communist gangs, and common criminals. And the curious fact is Cillian Murphy had to smoke a lot of cigarettes in the series. Cillian Murphy is rarely seen without a cigarette in his mouth in the show. In an interview, Murphy said that used the herbal rose variant and smoked like 5 a day. He also asked the prop guys to count how many cigs they used during a series, and the count is around 3,000. And this is the third and last curious fact about the United Kingdom.